Lesson 2-4, solving equations with the variable on each side. Essential question. What is the first step to solving an equation with variables on each side? All right, so there are two steps that we're going to take in order to solve all the problems in this lesson. Our first goal is going to be to get the variables on the same side. So you're going to notice there's going to be one variable on the left-hand side of the equation and one variable on the right-hand side of the equation. So in order to be able to solve for that variable, we need to get them on the same side first. Then after we're done with that, we can just solve the remaining equation until the variable is all by itself. All right, so let's start with 8 plus 5x equals 7x minus 2. So I'll still start with my train tracks, down my equal sign. My first step is going to be to circle both of my variables, because if you remember back a slide, it said our first step to solving the equation is to get our variables on the same side. Now I want to move either the 5x over to the 7x side or the 7x over to the 5x side, so I can pick which one I want to do. I'm still going to do the opposite operation. But what I'm going to do is I'm always going to either add or subtract. So I'm going to look at that the 5 is positive and that the 7 is positive. So in order to bring it from one side to the other, I'm going to have to either subtract 5 or subtract 7. Now I like to keep my answer with positives rather than negatives, so I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. So now you'll notice on the left-hand side, 5x minus 5x is 0. So that's gone, and I'm just left with the 8. 7x minus 5x is 2x, and then I'm going to bring down the minus 2. So now you should have just a two-step equation that looks familiar to you. So our two that are grouped together, the number grouped with the variable, is the 2. So I'm going to get rid of this minus 2 by adding 2 on both sides. Negative 2 and 2 make 0. 8 and 2 make 10. So then I'm left with one final step to break or get rid of the 2 in front of the x. The opposite of 2 times x is 2 divided by x. So I'll divide both sides by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So my answer is x equals 5. And if you wanted to check and see if that's right, all I'd have to do is plug that 5 in here and here. So 8 plus 5 times 5 and 7 times 5 minus 2 should both be equal. So 8 plus 25 is 33. 35 minus 2 is 33. So they both equal each other. I know I did that correctly. Second example. So this time we have a 9x and a 3x. And again, in order to be able to bring one of them from one side to the other, we have to either add or subtract. 9x and 3x are both positive, so the opposite would be subtracting. So I could either subtract 9x on both sides, or I could subtract 3x on both sides. I like to keep things positive, so I'm going to subtract the 3x on both sides. But if you do it the other way, you'll still get the same answer. 9x minus 3x is 6x. These will make 0. And then I'm left with 7 on that side. So now 6 is paired with my x, so I want to get rid of the minus 5. Add 5 to both sides. To get the x by itself, I have to divide both sides by 6, and I end up with x equals 2. I'm not going to check my answer again, but if I wanted to, I could plug in my 2 here and here and make sure that I got the right answer. All right. So negative 3x. So this time when I want to get my variable on the same side, since my 3 is negative, I'd have to add 3x to both sides, or I can subtract 5x from both sides. If I want to keep things positive, the one that'll keep things positive is adding 3x to both sides. Negative 3 and 3 make 0. 5 and 3 make 8. So my 8x is my group, and I'm going to get rid of that 7. Negative 1 and negative 7 make negative 8. Divide both sides by 8. Negative 8 divided by positive 8 is negative 1. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. Alright, you'll notice this equation looks a little bit shorter than the last couple that we've done. But we're still going to take the same steps to solve it. So I've got my 2x on this side and an 8x on this side. To get my variables on the same side, I could either minus 2x on both sides or minus 8x. The one that's going to keep things positive is subtracting the 2x from both sides. So that's what I'm going to do. Now this left-hand side might look a little funny because we're left with nothing. Since we're left with nothing, we're just going to write the number 0. We're left with 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. 8 minus 2 is 6. Bring down our minus 30. And then we're still going to take the exact same steps we did on all the other problems to solve. It's fine that we have a 0 in our problem. Add 30 to both sides. So 0 and 30 make 30. Divide both sides by 6. And I end up with x equals 5. So if you ever end up with nothing on the left-hand side or nothing on the right-hand side, meaning everything canceled out, just write the number 0. Circle negative 3x. Circle negative 5x, so I can either add 3x to both sides since the 3 is negative, or add 5x to both sides. I'm going to add 5x because then that's going to turn this into a positive 2x. Negative 5 and 5 make 0, so I will just write down 0. Circle my 2x. And subtract 4 on both sides. So I end up with x equals negative 2. Summary. The first step to solving an equation with variables on each side is